What's up, everybody? I'm Thomas J. Bellezza, and welcome to The Right Mindset. Today, we are going to go over some advice from author Zadie Smith. And, we're going to hear what she has said, sort of what she kind of puts in her books, and how to relate that to our journey as authors. So let's do it. Let's get right to it and develop the right mindset. That's right. Today's lesson is going to be about who is Zadie Smith and having some advice from the author herself, things she has said, quotes, etc. If you're new here and or you're a beginner, if you're new here and you're a beginner or you've been writing for some time, you're an author with experience, well, give that subscribe button a click and follow along on lessons about our craft, analyzing and reviewing storytelling, and interviews with fellow writers as we celebrate the industry and talk shop together through the podcast. Let's do it. Let's get right to it. Who is Zadie Smith? Zadie Smith, everybody, originally Sadie with an S. Zadie Smith was born on October 27th, 1975. She is 3 years older than me. In London, England. She is a British author known for her treatment of race, religion, and culture identity. And to get an idea and understanding of who we are talking about, here she is, the lovely Zadie. She also talks about how she's also known for how she utilizes these elements in her stories, her novels, to make eccentric characters, savvy humor, and snappy dialogue. As a daughter of a Jamaican mother and English father, she changed the spelling of her first name to Zadie at the age of 14. She began writing poems and stories as a child and later studied English literature at the University of Cambridge. She has a BA in 1998. Ooh. Well, there she began writing White Teeth, and at age 21, she submitted some 80 pages to an agent. Believe it or not, a frenzied bidding war ensued, and the book eventually was sold to Hamish Hamilton. She had her book, White Teeth, published in 2000. That's pretty. It happens. The ambitious work won numerous awards, including the Whitbread. I'm sorry, I am saying that incorrectly. The Whitbread. I could be saying that wrong too, but it's spelled Whitbread. Anyway, first novel award in 2000, and was a finalist for the National Book Critics Circle Award and the Orange Prize for Fiction. All right, so that's a little bit about her backstory, but we really can tell more about somebody when we hear their thoughts and words. And of course, actions speak louder than words. However, in this case, we're going to allow her thoughts to kind of influence the way we look at who she is and how we look at ourselves and what we can do for our careers. Here's one piece of advice: protect your time and space. She has been quoted to say, protect the time and space in which you write. Keep everybody away from it, even the people who are most important to you. What I like about this is the understanding that we have a limited amount of time in our life, about 75 summers, 75 summers, give or take. I know that's kind of dark, but it's true. There is a boundary we, us writers, need to create when it comes to doing one of the hardest things we can do creatively, which is write. Writing isn't easy or necessarily comes easy for everybody. Otherwise, everybody in the world would do it, and everyone would be amazing. It's absolutely critical for you, the writers, to protect your personal space from distractions. This is why your space and time is essential to your career. Things to think about is that you need to keep those roommates, friends, family, work, and neighbors, dog, and yes, even your cat, mostly your cat, at a distance during this boundary time block, which in the turn, we know that the cat mostly makes it difficult. These difficult outside distractions make it hard for us to write and focus, because you start writing, then and then you're like, stop it. It makes it difficult to produce your best work. The problem with being without boundaries when it comes to your writing is that being available for all things will drain you. This is your work. We're talking about uh, your work is important. It's something you have to get out of your soul, something you got to get out of your head, something that you've been working on, something you need to say. And there's like subjects and themes and important thoughts and character lives that are inside you that need to get out. This is your work we're talking about after all, and you're not a bad person for wanting to protect your personal space and time, and you should be happy when others respect that and say, yeah, sure, I'll give you your time. You do what you got to do. Now, of course, there is a point where you're neglecting others in your life, and that's something you have to kind of work out with your time. But if you say, hey, I need 2 hours or 3 hours to write, they should dedicate some space to that. Another thing is, if you're writing professionally, or you're let's say you took the Thomas J. Bellezza route, and you saved up enough currency, enough money, enough financial foundation to support you for 18 months while you get involved within the industry of your liking and start trying to make connections and start working within that industry, even if you're doing things you don't necessarily like. But you're working within that industry. For example, would you rather be packing out shelves at a supermarket, doing a thing you hate, or would you rather be doing something you don't really enjoy doing, but it's in your field of interest? You're developing relationships, establishing your value, and marketing your brand while learning the industry from the inside out through practical application. To me, it wasn't a big choice. It was, or a hard choice, I should say. It was something like, I was like, wait, if I have the money paying for my bills, then I could take the opportunities, volunteer my time when and where I have to, and just get involved. And I will just focus hard on that. In that situation, your time is precious because you should still be working. So before I got into traditional work within the field of my interest, which was originally music, way back in the day when I was a youngster, we used to walk uphill both ways. The thing that you don't make money right away, but if you have that money in the bank covering your overhead, you can choose to say yes to things that would most likely benefit your brand. So basically, you get involved with people and industries and companies that represent your ideals, your morals, your purposes, your missions, etc. But in turn, before that happens, before you start getting highly involved, you have to dedicate a 9-hour day of work. So as a writer, like now, I have 9 hours of work I do per day as a writer because my career shift. I retired from music. I went into acting and stuff like that. But now I focus solely on writing, like scripts, novels, helping people with novels. But I'm a script consultant. But I have a 9-hour day. I work from home. I don't have to leave my house. So the people in my life know that from X time to X time, that is my work time. It's not me having fun, even though I definitely love what I do. It's not me just doing that writing thing. It's something that I have to dedicate my time to. And I do have a lunch hour. And during that time, if you want to hang out, eat together or whatever, fine. If people call me, people come first. There is that value. But I also have to say, all right, I've been on the phone for an hour with this person. Maybe I should get off and get back to work. That's the thing that's precious to you. That helps your career the most. Is there's a certain time block that is your job. And your job, no one's going to just come to your work and be like, I know you're working, but can we go hang out? Why can't we go to the movies? Why can't we go to the movies? Because I'm working. All right. Express my way of being. So this is important because her quote is, when I write, I am trying to express my way of being in the world. All right. As per Zadie Smith, when I write, I am trying to express my way of being in the world. What a powerful statement, and so true as a writer. Your voice, your brand, your novels say more when they mean more to you. Okay? This is a major difference between writing a novel to sell and writing a novel that says something more. And believe it or not, audiences connect deeper and greater to stories that say something, that have some worth to it. And if they continue to see those messages in your stories, your novels, they recognize your brand, your voice. Oh, I love this author's stories. I love what they write because they have a lot of the same things that are important to me, the same themes. I like the same struggles and I like the same successes. Sometimes you just want to read a hero story where it's just the underdog wins, and that may, like, I feel like an underdog, so let me read this. Oh, it makes me feel like it's possible, right? But other times you want something a little deeper, a little more emotionally connected to the author and their brand and what they have to really say. Now, I'm a believer that the greatest novels in the world, fantasy, romance, any genre, gains its strength by what it says deeper within. As a writer, your voice comes from the things that are important to you and your soul, not the cool moments you create in a narrative. Yes, it's awesome to see dragons, spaceships, two people fall hopelessly in love, but those things are happening, but nothing is being said. A quick aside is George Lucas once pointed out in an interview, he goes, when I was coming out with Star Wars, nobody saw what Star Wars was, what the journey was. And he goes, yeah, it's good versus evil, right? But there's something deeper going on. There's something more intricate, more pure. It's complex. And people only saw the spaceships. They saw the guns. They saw they call it the light swords. And, they saw the gruffy character, and then they saw the dark villain and blah, blah, blah. So then a slew of space movies came out where they just had cool looking ships and they had cool looking weapons and they had cool looking characters, but nothing was there at the core of what Star Wars was doing. And that's true with writing. If you are writing what looks cool or feels cool or sounds cool, if there's no depth to what you're writing, there's nothing underneath. Because remember, there's only 7 stories. There's really only 7 stories you could tell. However, the way you approach that story with your voice, your themes, the things that are important, the inner struggles, the external struggles, the push forward, things like this, the underlying conflict that drives the plot, however important as that is, it's that dynamic between the characters, the world, and the plot, and the other, stuff like that. And you're saying something more. You're saying something more. Because remember, plot is what happens or it needs to happen. And story is how it happens, how it unfolds, the why it unfolds. Why is this story? Why is this character choosing to be influenced by this? Why is this story need to be told? What is being said beyond they need to get the elixir to stop the bad guy? Like, there's something greater going on. And if you could find those themes in your stories, that's why themes are definitely a part of your education as a writer. Themes are a valid part of the storytelling process. Now, you've probably heard me say lots of stuff is happening, but nothing is happening. I say it often. No matter how much is going on in your story, if it doesn't say something, then what is your story really about? This is all part of the what I do is who I am mentality. Because again, we could talk all day, but my actions will always speak louder than my words, or my inactions will speak louder than my profession, not my professions, my profound statements of truth. If I say I am the nicest man you will ever meet, but I never prove it through my actions, it's just me pontificating, right? So, if there are things you care about, they should be in your stories. They don't even have to be the drive of the story, just the theme, the flavor, the message behind it all, the backdrop, something that's interesting. Let your truth and what drives you fill up your stories and write what matters to you. Once you understand the substance of your purpose, mission, and inner philosophies, then the exploration of those ideas can fill up all the pages within your novel. Because this explosion, all right, will just be what's happening. But people who can see deeper will understand the meaning. So the explosion is pushing all those ideas out there. These are all the things I want to happen. This is the plot. That's the explosion. But once there's something behind it, all right, and you could see deeper than there's just a fancy Michael Bay explosion. Now we're saying more with our story and therefore giving depth and meaning to it and something for audiences to connect to. And a lot of times, those themes, those deeper meanings aren't necessarily even a conscious acknowledgement. It's just something we are feeling inside as we read it, because the story is showing the things that are important, but it's not really talking about it, and readers will sense that and feel that. All right, third piece of advice from Zadie Smith: don't give you an easy ride. All right, so she says, and I quote Zadie Smith: I like books that don't give you an easy ride. I like the feeling of discomfort, the sense of being implicated. All right. Like the words of Zadie Smith, her soul likes to be pushed and pulled through thought. Think of this as shaking things up sometimes, both in your stories and your life. When in doubt, reach out. Reach out to people and change your patterns. Speak to strangers and get to learn more. Find ways to get involved by placing yourself in uncomfortable situations. I mean, like, who really likes to go outside and meet people? But you should, right? Find ways to challenge those feelings. You'll be surprised what you find. So when you have those fears, how do you challenge those fears and experience new things and break new boundaries? Like, life in general can become safe in the isolation of your own mind, the group of people you know, and even your routines. To truly live, even locally, you need to shake things up in your life so you can experience things. When you find those experiences truly touching, your world opens up and you'll find purpose. The goal of life is not to watch it float on by, but to be a part of it and absorb different experiences. Ooh. All right, final thoughts. I noticed that the three authors I have presented in this series playlist thus far all have something in common. They have something to say beyond what is written in their books. A book is a gathering of words, moments, and scenes for characters to live within. Crappy books, amazing books, even some par books all have words, moments, and scenes for characters to live within. What makes a book stand out is when it says something more than just having the upper layer exposed. There is a lot we can learn from the shoulders of giants before us. They are not just writing books. They are not just selling novels. They are not just published. These authors are movements within themselves as they reach out and touch the souls of others. They get involved even by proxy through the ideas and deeper thinking they present. Think about it. Why do you want to hear someone speak? The reason is simple. You've connected to them emotionally based on them having something to say, something that you connect with emotionally. All I'm saying is that you should be more than your stories and use those stories as backdrops to give depth, weight, and purpose to what you have to say in your life. And you can do this with romance, comedies, dark fantasy. It doesn't matter the genre. It matters how you say what you say. May your words connect with others in a way that opens them up to the unknown truth that is your message. All right. The next video in this series will be, I'm not sure if you've heard of Kurt Wagner. No? Van Gut? Van Gut? Van Gut? Kurt Van Gut? Is that Van Gut with you? Wait, here it is. Kurt Vonnegut. I had it phonetically spelled out too, and it wasn't working. Kurt Vonnegut. All right. I'm not sure if you've heard of Kurt Vonnegut. I'm terrible with pronouncing. Anyway, he had a very short career. It was about 50 years long, where he was a writer. By the way, I love looking back at those who have come before us and really seeing their journey and their struggles, their trials and tribulations, and how they succeeded, and what it is they actually added to the world of literature. With that said, in what ways do you feel you either try to be more original or to deliver the stories readers want? Let me know in the comments below. let me know in the comments below. Want to know a little bit? Want to learn a little bit more about the writing process, the craft, a little insight into the industry, and also hearing from other authors like yourself through our podcast? Then please subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss out. All right. And as always, keep developing the right mindset. I'll see you next time. Okay. Bye.